All right, folks, listen. This is a live stream, and I'm not going to be doing too much interaction with the viewers because I'm going to be showing information. So, this is a lot of stuff here to show. Uh, and if you saw the last video that I put up, for the people who are new, all my videos are under the live stream section right now because I haven't done a pre-recorded video for over a year now, probably. But make sure you watch all my live streams just from the most recent one and just work your way back, okay? Now, I'm not going to go into all the details of what this channel is about, but basically I have two predictions. June 11th, the Washington State, there's going to be some kind of horrific event. So get out of Washington State before June 11th. And somehow it connects to Elvis. And on August 4th, Trump gets his head wound, most likely in Ohio on August 4th, okay? Trump gets the head wound. Anyway, so this is an incredible video, and wait till you see the connection to this Vernon Presley, who is Elvis's dad. It's shocking, really. It really is, and if you saw the last video and the connection to the 666 that I showed, I'm going to re-show that also in this video. So it's kind of a spoiler alert on that one. They'll take away from the last video I put up by showing it here. But anyway, so here we go. Let's see where I can start here. I got to be careful that I don't. Hold on a second. And like I said, folks, Elvis is the real Antichrist, and Trump is the image of the Antichrist, who is, you see, what they're doing is copying God, because when God was walking the earth as Jesus, who is God in the flesh, God was still in heaven God was still in heaven, the Father, right? So you had the Father, the Son, and what happened to Jesus? He was crucified, right? And he rose from the dead. And that's what's going to happen with Trump, because Elvis and Trump are mocking God, okay? And that's why Elvis is playing God in heaven, right? Anyway, so, but let me just tell you this, for the people who don't understand the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit connection, it's one God, okay? But they manifest as three, as the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, okay? In heaven, there's one God, all right? Anyway, so let's get started. So for the people who don't know, let me just say this. Understand that, so for Elvis's dad and mom, obviously, but the dad mainly, obviously this guy was somebody super important to this puzzle. Don't ask me what he did, how he got where he got, but when I first saw Vernon Presley, in my mind, for some reason, I pictured George Washington. Don't ask me whether it was his wavy hair or I don't know what it was, but when I saw him, for some reason, I always think of George Washington. Like I said, I don't understand, but. And his name is Vernon, right? And Washington was George Washington was Mount Vernon, his estate, where his compound was called Mount Vernon, and we'll get into that later. But let's get into the connections before I show you the most incredible stuff. Let's get going here. All right, so Vernon Presley, Elvis's dad, right? He was born on 4/10/1916, okay? And you'll see how this is all connected. So 4/10, and like right now, like I said, I'm just showing a few things first before I show you the important stuff. So Vernon, his birth date, it adds up to 49 if you just add up the numbers to his birth. And if you add up the numbers to his death, it equals 130. And that's exactly what Washington equals. The word Washington equals 130 and then 49 reduced. So that's an interesting thing right there. Okay? And hold on one second. And interestingly enough, his birthday, 410, the 410th prime is 2819, and it's interesting that it's almost the same numbers as Seattle, which is 8219. It's 8219. Okay? And there's much more to this. I just didn't want to get into it, but this is really important, but I'm not going to show it. Vernon, if you put Vernon and Elvis together, it equals 155. And from Elvis's birthday to 6/11, when Washington State gets struck, it's 155 days, okay? So you got the 155, and Vernon Elvis equals 155. And 155, when written out, is the first number that equals 216, which is August 4th, my other prediction. So 6/11, the Washington State event, then August 4th, Trump gets his head wound. And 155 is the first number when written out that equals 216. Okay? And by the way, June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. So it's the same numbers as August 4th being the 216th day of the year. And look at this. Remember, we're talking about 410, 10-4. Because, you know, in the UK, they say 10-4, like 10-4, good buddy. You know, that CB talk, whatever the heck it is. CB radio stuff. But anyway, 410, 10-4, look at that. If you add up all the numbers between 1 through 10, it equals 55. 1 through 4, it equals 10. That's 5510, which is Satan. See? Satan is connected to the 410 to the 10-4. Okay? And now here's where it all comes together, folks. Now, I want you guys to listen. Pay attention. This is so important what I'm about to show you here. So you guys make sure you pay attention closely, okay? So the year Obama was born, he's 0 years old, right? That year. The day he's born, he's 0 years old, right? So that's the crown. The O is the crown. And I told you guys that when Trump was born is also the crown. So you get what I'm saying? The 0. Because you're 0 years old, you're O, you're coming out of the womb. It's the crowning. Get it? You know, when you're coming out of the womb, it's the crowning. And the womb is the matrix, right? Anyway, so let's look. Remember, we're talking about Vernon Presley here. So look, Vernon Presley was born on 410, right? 1916. This is 1961. Okay? The year Elvis turned 26. God equals 26, by the way. God equals 26. The word God. G-O-D. Just add it up to what it is in the alphabet. Trump was 15 years old. And remember, the letter O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. The O is the 0. So that's a crown. So Elvis with the crown. The O is the crown. So that's where you're getting, it's solidifying what you're seeing here. Because Trump's crown is Obama. Elvis's crown is Trump. Get it? Now look, Vernon Presley's born on 410, 1916. Look at this. So Elvis and Trump, remember, Vernon, when Elvis was born, there was an identical twin that died at birth. Okay? When Elvis was born. And I told you that Trump was the replacement twin. Trump was the replacement twin for Elvis's identical twin that died at birth. Okay? And so what are you seeing here? Okay? So 410, 1916. So you have 1961. You have the 4-1. 26 plus 15 is 41. 26 plus 15 is 41. And then the O is Obama's birthday. And you'll see why it's on this day, August 4th, why it has to be this day where the crown comes in. Watch this. So Elvis's age is 26, Trump 15, that's 41, and then the O's, and it's 61, right? And it's 1916. Same numbers, right? Now watch. Right? 1916 looks like 1961, right? Now watch this. Keep watching. So Trump, pay attention. Trump is the 45th president, right? And by the way, the Trump was born on the 165th day of the year, so you do have the 165 in there, but forget about that. What's important here is that it's 45 and then 3 months 26 days. Did you know that JFK was killed on 326th day of the year? Okay, so that's another connection to the head wound, the 326. But wait, look at the amount of days. 16553 to August 4th, 1961. Okay? 16553. And remember, Vernon is born in 1916, right? Look at the number 16553. Look at that. The 1916th prime is 16553. Are you understanding what I just showed you? So pay attention, okay? So Vernon's born 410, 1916. 1961 looks like 16, all right? So you already have that there. It's already there in the numbers because 26, the ages of Elvis, Trump, and Obama was 26 and 15. 26 plus 15 is 41. The 0 doesn't count as anything, so that's why it's a crown. 410, 410, 1916, 61. So it's right there already, right? But now, why did it have to be on August 4th? Why is it this Obama's birthday? Because August 4th is when you get this. To August 4th, from Vernon's birth to Obama's birth is 16553 days. The 1916th prime is 16553. Okay? And that's the 1916 is when Vernon was born. Okay? Do you see how perfect that is, man? Okay? Because it literally completes this perfectly. You get the 410, and at August 4th is the completion. August 4th, 61, that's 16553 is the 1916th prime. 16553. Okay? Now, and don't forget that August 4th, the 216th, when you put a crown on 216, this is what you get. Because remember, August 4th is the 216th day of the year. It's the first number that when you put a crown on it, the letter O, with the number, if you went to every single number, it would not do this. This is the first one that does it at 216. And August 4th is the 216th day of the year. See? Okay? You get the 666, you get that perfect number. But anyway, all right, so I don't, listen, if you guys don't say, first of all, I had much more to show on that, but I left it out. But do you understand how crazy that is? What I just showed, okay? It's beyond ridiculous what you just saw. Okay? Anyway, so let me keep going. Yeah, let's stick to the topic of the video. Let's not go anywhere else but the topic of this video, please. Stick to what we're talking about. If you came in late, watch from the beginning, because it's a must watch. All right, so now for the spoiler alert from yesterday's video, I'm going to re-show this, but I'm going to go through it quick. Remember, I showed you that I was the first one to discover that Barack Hussein Obama's full name equals 666, okay? And I told you that August 4th is the 216th day of the year, the day Obama was born, and 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216, and that's the day Trump gets his head wound, right? And I told you that Elvis Aaron Presley, his full name equals 216. You just add it up to what it is in the alphabet. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. Elvis was born on 1/8, which kind of looks like 18. 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18. So a lot of connections, right? Now, I told you that everything connects to Elvis, connects to the 611. And I told you Elvis is Satan in the flesh, okay? And Satan equals 55. And what does Satan need to get to 666? Because that's what he needs, right? The 666. So, and I'm telling you, 611 is when Washington State gets struck. So 611 plus 55 equals 666. That's it right there. So Satan needs the 611 to get to 666. Okay, the end of story. There's nothing else left after that, all right? But here's how it gets crazy, because 611, my two predictions is 611 and 84. From 611 to August 4th is 55 days when you add the day. So they're telling you that 611 plus 55 is 666. So that means August 4th is the 666, which is exactly what it says. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. August 4th is the 216th day of the year, right? And like I said, Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. Do you get it? It's all perfect, folks. Do you understand how perfect this is? Okay? So August 4th is the end of the cycle at the 666 mark, right? And you remember I showed you earlier that Barack Hussein Obama's full name equaled 666 when you add it all up. But look at the very first numbers, is 16364. So notice it's got a 63 and a 64, and I'll show you why. Because look, this August 4th, Obama goes from the age 63 to 64 on August 4th, okay? And why is that important? Because remember, he was born in 61, and the 15 is the crown, right? The O. And that's the day Trump got his crown, which is Obama. Then you keep going forward to 62, the year, 16, and he was 1, Obama. Trump is 17, his age, and in 63. And Obama would be 2. And in 64, because remember, he goes from 63 to 64 this year, Obama. This is what they were waiting for. It's 66, 6. So it's the 666. And August 4th, remember, is the 216th day of the year, which is 6 times 6 times 6. So it's right there again. So that's the end right there. 63, 64. Okay? Okay, that was what I showed in the video, in the last video. Okay? Is that, you understand? Because he turned 63, 64 this year. Okay? And that's the final one, 66.6. I mean, their ages is 666 for Trump. Now, I'm going to get to Elvis in a minute, but let me just finish this. So, and also the year 61, 62, 63, 64 ends with 25 with a crown, 250. And we're in the year 25. Okay? And I told you Trump's birthday is 6/14, and you know 6 times 14 equals 84. And Trump's going to get his head one on 8/4. That's what I've been telling you. Notice, remember, I'm telling you the years is 61, 62, 63, 64. See? 6, 1, 4. See it? Everything in between. And 6 times 14 equals 84, right? Trump's going to get his head one on 84. And notice that Trump's birthday, 6/14, on the Julian calendar, which we used to be on, 6/14 would be 6/1 on our calendar. There's like a 13-day difference. 6/14 would be 6/1. And notice, because we're talking about the year 61, remember? Where it started, and then it ends at 6/14. See what I mean? 6, 6, 1, then to the 4, 6, 14. And notice that 1 plus 4 plus 1 equals 6. 1, 4, and 1. Let's say that added up to 6. 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 6. So you have 6, 6, 6. You see? And what else? Oh, and remember, we're talking about between 61 and 64. 225 days on a regular year, because we're in the year 2025. 225 days is 61.64%. On a leap year, 225 days has the same numbers as Obama's birthday. Look, 8461, 6148. You see that? Okay. And now, just to confirm that what I was showing in the 63, 64, because Obama goes from 63 to 64 on August 4th this year. Look, if you just add up Elvis's age and Trump's age, it's 45. If you add Elvis's age and Trump's age in 64, is 47. And Trump was the 45, 47 president. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And notice that Vernon, oh man, you know what? Here's another connection. Look at this. What was Vernon? Hold on, folks. Let me see if I can find that connection. Give me a second. You remember Vernon's birthday? Vernon's birthday is 410. Look at the numbers of the 410th prime. 2819. Look, 2, 8, 1, and 9. You see the four numbers? And Seattle equals 8219. You see it? It's in there, in that number too. Okay? So what I'm trying to, it's all connected to each other, man. Man, folks, if you don't understand how hard it is to explain all this, I don't know what to tell you, man. Okay? Let me put this down. Okay, so far, is anyone, I know some of you might got it late into the chat. If you did, you're going to have to watch from the beginning and rewatch the video, okay? You have to watch this video. It's incredible. Is there anyone so far that doesn't understand what I've been showing? You got to watch from the beginning. What did I do here? Something missing. I lost some information here. Anyway. So now I'm sticking to the 60. I'm just still sticking to the 63-64 connection that I just showed you, because that's where it ends. All right. Make sure you guys thumb up the video and also comment under the video. So watch. I know you think I'm kind of drifting off. I'm not. So listen, from Elvis's birthday to 611, if you don't add the day, it's 154. If you add the day, it's 155. And on a leap year, when you add the day, it's 156. Okay. So the reason I'm showing you that is because of this reason. Because this equation with these three connects to the 63-64. Notice the numbers. It starts with 154 when you don't add the day, and ends with 156 when you add the day. See? Between 63 and 64, it ends with the 156, and it starts with the 154. So on 63, 63 is the 154th day of the year. That's what I should say, actually. And on leap year, it's 155. Okay? And then 64 is 155 days when you add the day, 156 on a leap year. Okay? That's what I should have said, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is 6-3 and 6-4 connect to what I'm showing here. From Elvis's birthday to 6-11 is 154 days when you don't add the day, 155 days when you add the day, and 156 days on a leap year. So it has all the connections to the 6-3 and 6-4. Okay? It has to connect to both 63 and 64. Okay? And and just one last thing for a second here. And don't forget, like I said, I showed this earlier. June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. August 4th is the 216th day of the year. And yeah, whatever. I'm not even going to explain it. I already explained it earlier. And by the way, I could show you tons of info on the 16-2, 216 stuff, which is June 11th and August 4th connections with Elvis, I'm saying. If you've watched my videos, you know I've showed it. I mean, literally, I could show you another 20 cards just only on that. Okay, now we're going to show the connections with Elvis to that puzzle where I was showing you Trump and Obama's age being the connection to the 666. You'll see in a moment. I'm just resting my hands, folks. Make sure you thumb up the video. Oh, man. My arthritis is messed up, man. Anyone who came in late, you got to watch from the beginning. It's a must watch. Okay, now we're going to get into the Elvis stuff with that chart I created here. So remember, I showed you the chart of the Trump and Obama connections being 666, right? Now, Elvis, starting from 1961, because I showed you how important that year was to Vernon, his father. And Elvis turned God that year, 26. Okay? When he turned 26, God equals 26. Look, so if you add it all up, it's 110. And you're going to see why 110 is so important. Okay? And there's a lot that I'm going to leave out, obviously. So the date 420 is the 110th day of the year. Okay? And you're probably saying, well, that doesn't have anything to do with your predictions. What does 420 have to do with this, right? Look, first of all, you have the 442 with a crown. So that's one of the reasons. Because why am I showing 42 with a crown? Because Elvis died at the age of 42. Washington's the 42nd state. And George Washington's original birthday was on 2/11, which is the 42nd day of the year. So 4-2 is like the 42 with a crown, okay? And it's the 110th day of the year, which I just showed you down here is the 110 for Elvis's age, where it ends, at the 64 mark. It's between 63 and 64, the ending part, which I've been explaining to you. So the 420 is the 110th day of the year. And what's special about 420? And see, you're probably thinking, well, so what's the big deal, right? Watch. Why would Google even know, who would know when they started a job? What day did Elvis start working at Crown Electric? Look at this. Explain to me why they would know this. Because this is before he became famous even. He was barely famous, like 16, 17. He had just started. Look at this. Elvis Presley started working at Crown Electric. Electric. 420 in the year 54. Look at that. 420. All right. Why? Why would they know this? This is something I'd shown years ago. So 420. There it is, right? And 420 has a lot of significance to things. In you know, I'm not going to mention what it is, but just real quick. So now when I show you this again, that 110, 110 with the Elvis age to the end right here, 110, and then 420 being the 110th day. 420 is when he started working at Crown Electric, and 420, look, 420 is the 110, right? 420 is the 110, and if you add 1 through 10 is 55. Satan equals 55. See? 1 1 0 1 1 0. Get it? 1 through 10, 1 through 10, 110, 1 through 10, 55. Satan equals 55. So 42 with the crown. Elvis died at 42. Washington is the 42nd state. Okay? Now, if you still think that's a coincidence, what about this? The time on the clock, 420, is 1620. And that's 162, which is June 11th with a crown. The 162nd day of the year with a crown. 420, 42 with a crown. And Elvis, he died in Memphis, Tennessee. Tennessee's the 16th state. He was born in the 20th state. I could show you again all these cards connecting to 1620, 216, 16 All right. And so June 11th is the 162nd day of the year with a crown. 42 with a crown. Elvis died at 42. Washington's 42nd state. On June 11th, it gets struck. And if you turn those numbers around, it would be 2016, right? See that? Military time, 2016. And why is that important? Instead of 1620, it's 2016, because the time would be 8:16 on the clock. Elvis died on 8/16 at the age of 42. You see? You can't get, you telling me that's not what's going on here? 420, 1620, which is 162, June 11th with a crown. Elvis died at 42. Turn the numbers around, is 2016. 8:16 is what the time would be on the clock. Age 42, 8:16, Elvis died. You see? It's perfect. And when is Trump going to get his head wound? On 8/4. Add 8/16 and 8/4 together, you get 1620 or 2016. And that's when Trump was elected from Obama. And how old was Obama when Trump was elected and became president? Obama was 55. Satan equals 55. Okay? Because it all has to connect to Satan. Because Elvis is Satan. Okay? But they're all Antichrist, all these people, Trump is the image of the Antichrist. Is there anyone who's not getting this? Hold on. Man, my hands are about to fall off. Just give me a second. I'm about to reveal more. So let's just keep going here. Anyone who came in late, you gotta watch this video from beginning to end. That's how good it is. All right. So remember, so this time I'm not showing Obama's age, which would have been 6 here at the end. So it would have been 666, right? But look, Elvis's age and Trump's age. Look, notice it's 110 and 66 at the end here. 110 and 66, okay? And you know what happened with the Twin Towers? Each one of them had 110 floors, right? Right? And from Elvis's birthday to 9/11 was 66 years, right? And the word twin equals 6621. And look, it happened in 2001, right? So 66 years. And, I told you Trump's going to get his head wound on 8/4. 66 years, 8 months, 4 days after Elvis's birth. the day that his identical twin died at birth. So you're telling me his identical twin died at birth, that 66 years later, the Twin Towers collapse, right? Twin equals 66, 21, 2, 1, 66, right? And remember, we're talking about 110 floors. I just told you that the 110 floors connects to this. Twin equals 66, 110 floors. You see? You see what I'm talking about? Right? And how old was Elvis when he died? 42. And how many years after Elvis died did the Twin Towers collapse? 24. You see? You see, even his reverse numbers, I mean, the reverse numbers for twin adds up to Elvis's connections. Elvis died at 42, 24 years later, 9/11 happened. But 66 years from his birth in 2001, 2-1, get it? Now, before I move on, let me just say one last thing. Elvis, when he used to come out in concert, he would play a song that would bring him out. Not the first song, but the first music that he would come out to was the 2001 Space Odyssey theme, which the real name for that 2001 Space Odyssey theme was called Sprach Zarathustra. But you could just put 2001 Space Odyssey theme. And who wrote that? Who's the composer? Richard Strauss. When was Richard Strauss born? June 11th. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, you know? And he's got the Strauss name, like Levi Strauss. Levi, get it? Levi's is Elvis, the word Levi's. Anyway, so back to this, right? So just real quick, I'm not going to repeat it again. I'm just going to show you the cards because I'm going to keep going. So remember, I was showing you this, the 11066 and the Twin Towers, 110 floors. 66 years after Elvis's birth, the Twin Towers fell. Elvis had an identical twin that died at birth. And look at this, binary codes, which I told you connects to the reset, which was 2425 was the 01 reset. This year's the reset also, the final part of it. Binary codes, 6 is 110. There it is, that 110 again. Didn't I just tell you what the 110 is? It's connected to 420. 420 is the 110th day of the year. And Elvis, his numbers was 110, right? For the connection. So 611 with a crown. How do you write 6 in binary codes? Is 110, which is the reset number. Just like 911 is 91001. But look at this. And Washington State was founded on 11/11. So there's another connection right there. Washington State was founded on 11/11 because it's going to be struck on 6/11. But look, you have 911 and 611, and what do you have? 1, 2, 3. You have a triple crown. See, three O's, right? Now, remember I told you the O's are super important. The letter O is the crown. The O is the 15th letter and reduced to 6. Okay, look at that. The 156 prime is 911, and it happened in 2-1. 2-1. 156, 2-1. 156 prime is 911, 2-1. See, that's why 911 had to do with the crown, right? And remember, I was talking about the 110 connecting to Elvis's age connection on this chart. All right. And is it not interesting that the USA country code is 011, which is the 110 backwards? Okay. And I told you the O is the 69. So what is that? That's 611 and 911. There it is again. And look at this, the 110th prime number, because remember 420 is the 110th day of the year. The 110th prime is 601, right? And why am I showing that? Because Elvis's state that he was born, in Mississippi is a 601 area code, and it's the 110th prime, and 601 looks like 901, and Elvis's death state area code is 901. So there it is again, 911611. You see, and it's connected to his area codes. You see, and now, if you think these are coincidences, the Memphis, Tennessee stuff, here you go. You add a crown to Elvis Aaron Presley and to his birthplaces, Tupelo, Mississippi, and Memphis, Tennessee, you get 666. Look at that. You see? You just add up the letter. You just put it into the calculator. Just add up the letters to what it is in the alphabet. And you know what I'm going to do? Just in case you guys don't believe me, I'm going to put it into the calculator right now for you guys. Give me a second. I gotta rest my hand anyway. Uh-oh. How is 6, 9 the same as 0? 6 plus 9 is 15. That's what's in the womb. The 6, the 15. The O is the 15th letter. 69. That's what a 69 is. It's the twin. The O is the 15th letter of the alphabet, the crown. 6 plus 9 is 15. And what's in between 6 and 9 is the 7, 8. And Elvis was born on the 7/8 day of the year. He was born on the 8th day, but if you don't add the day, it's 7 days up to his day. So 7 plus 8 is 15. So 6, 9, and what's in between the 6 and 9 is the 7, 8, which also equals 15, but it's in between. See, that's what's important. It's in between the 6 and the 9. See, they're playing some kind of crazy game, all right? Now, if you still think these are coincidences, oh, I have to show you that it equaled 666. Someone's saying that Elon always is writing the 69 and he loves the 420 because 420 is weed day, right? Besides it being some particular person's birth date, if you know who I'm talking about. The chancellor of Germany. But anyway, 420 is weed day, and yeah, Elon's always smoking that stuff. Hold on, let me type it into the. My hands are shaking because my arthritis from holding the phone. I'm not even be able to type, man. Hold on. So here. Like I said, I'm just, that way you can see I'm not making stuff up. I typed it into the calculator. So there's Elvis Aaron Presley with a crown, then Memphis, Tennessee, where he died, and Tupelo, Mississippi, where he was born. Look, see? 666. See what I mean? There's all the other numbers are important too, but the 666. Again, I ask you why? Why all these connections, I mean, why does it match so perfectly, Anyway, so let's keep going. All right. All right. Okay, and here we go. So remember the chart that I created. If you saw earlier in the video, you understand why I'm starting from 61. That connected earlier. If you saw the video with Vernon, Presley, Elvis's dad. But anyway, Elvis turned 26, which is the word God. God equals 26, and then the 15 is the crown, and then and that's the O because Obama was 0 years old. And anyway, it's 110. So we're focusing still on the 110, Elvis, besides the 666 over here. But this is what we're focusing on, the 110. Okay. Now, why am I showing this? I don't even know why I was going to show that. Okay, so remember earlier I said 420 equals the 110, the 110th day of the year, 420, 42 with a crown, and we're talking about the 110, right? The Elvis died at 42, Washington's the 42nd state, and Crown Electric is where Elvis started working, his first job. Crown, get it? 42 with a crown. Elvis died at 42, Washington's the 42nd state, and we're talking about 110, right? This whole time, right? 110 Elvis was, right? 11 with a crown. See? Elvis's age was 11 the year Trump was born. There it is again. 110. You see? Now you understand? Are you getting it? Elvis's crown is Trump. Okay? Do you get it? Is anyone not getting this? Do you see it? And I told you 1 through 10 is the connection to Satan. Okay? 1 through 10 equals 55. You add up all the numbers. And the 110, get it? The 110. 1 through 10 is 55, right? The 1 through 10, 110. And 1 through 10, 110, 110. Okay? And then, of course, when Trump is 15, which is the crown, he turns Obama. That's the AC. That's why Trump had to reach this point, okay, to get a crown. Because, see, he had a crown. His crown was Elvis's. His crown would be Obama. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Did you guys get that? I'm going to recap that beginning info with Vernon, which is pretty much the most important thing. Hold on. All right. We're almost done here. Make sure you thumb up the video, people. And what I'm about to show here is just more confirmation. It's not, well, I mean, some of it might be important. Yeah, one piece is pretty important. But here we go. Yeah, I could even show you all the connections with Vernon's name and what it equals, but I'm not going to get into that either. But, because Vernon's Elvis's dad, right? Anyway, so let's keep going. It's almost done, folks, because then I'm going to do the recap on that Vernon just real quick. So remember, I showed you this as the chart, right? And we started at the year 61. And Elvis, he was born on 1/8, which looks kind of like the 18, you know, and 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18, right? 18th prime is 61. See, it's got that 61 connection, you know. And if you wrote Elvis Aaron Presley 1961, it equals 433. The 84th prime is 433, and that's the year that Obama was born in 1961. You understand? On 8/4. Okay? The 84th prime is 433. Okay? Now, and then I told you if you put a crown on the years 61, 62, 63, 64, you get 611. And that's the day Washington gets struck, right? So crown on 61, 62, 63, 64, you get 611. And then Let's see how long that stupid thing's gonna keep going. You stupid truck. Anyway, so you add up all the you put the crown on those 4 years. 61, 62, 63, 64 equals 611. Then if you put Satan, add Satan to it, you get the 666. See? So a crown on Satan was 61, 62, 63, 64. You get 666. You see? So again, another perfect connection. All right, with what I'm trying to show here with those years, right? Okay. Like I said, I got just a few more, like 4 more cards here, and then I'm gonna recap the Vernon thing. I'm gonna end the video. I'm the one who came up with that, with the letter O being the crown. Yeah, I'm the one who came up with that. The O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. The O is the 0. It's the same thing. The O is a 0. It can be 0 or it can be the O, which is 15. They purposely did that, folks. It's not a coincidence. 0 to hero. You ever hear that? Anyway, I'm almost done. No, the O represents, let me tell you what the O represents. The O represents a crown, a portal, a head, a face, a ring, yeah, a halo, an egg, a womb. You understand? And the head is a crowning coming out of the womb, right? So it's got all these, it's got all these things connected. But mainly it could be a portal or a crown. That's the main two you got to think about. All right, now, for the people who've never seen this, let me just show. And in the Bible, this is where I got it from the Bible, the O. I always said to myself, when I saw the Bible, it said, "Oh Lord, oh God." I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." Somebody saying it like that. "Oh Lord, oh God." I kept seeing that in the Bible. That's where I got it from. The O is a crown. But what's crazy is before I started doing the videos connecting with Trump and everything, I used to think the O, because I used to talk about the double O code, the O is like the mark of the beast, I thought it was. I didn't understand it back then. I'm talking about before I was doing my videos in 2016, 2017. I started doing videos, like fake news videos, trying to show all the codes in it. Anyway, I got to show you this. Hold on. That's why you have the word Oz. Oz is O with the 26. O-Z. Z is the 26th letter, which is exactly what I've been telling you because Elvis is the Wizard of Oz. He was 26 years old. The Z. Then the 15 is the crown. Trump was 15. Obama was 0. 15 crown. Get it? So O-Z, the 15. See, it's Oz right there. You understand? The 26, 15. 15, 26 is the word Oz. Elvis TCB on his plane. So Elvis used to, his motto was taking care of business. And this dude used to go around putting TCB on everything. He put it on his jewelry, on his outfits, everything. And even, hold on. And even on his plane. And if you've seen my Beast videos, you'll know what I'm about to show. But the reason I'm bringing this up, you'll see. So this is on one of Elvis's planes. TCB. And notice that it's always like this with the C on the top and a lightning bolt. And you know who fell like lightning. Okay, it was Lucifer who became Satan. Satan fell like lightning. All right, now, so on all his stuff, he would have the TCB thing. Now, before I show you that, well, I could just show you that now, actually, the TCB thing. Let me just show you this. Hold on. So anyone who came in late, you got to watch from the beginning, the whole video. It's super important, this video. It's incredible information. So notice he has the lightning bolt in the middle. And the C is the 3, the T is the 20, and B is the 2. So it's 322. But really, it's taking care of business, TCB. But he says, but the way they write it, they have the C on the top. So that would mean it's first. CTB, 322, the 322, the skull and bones, And I've explained what that's about, but if you've been watching my videos. But look, TCB equals the same as the word C, SEA, which is 25, and we're in the year 25. In January, when Elvis was born in January, which is named after Janus, the two-faced God. I told you Elvis and Trump are the two-faced God. So you have the year, you know what I mean? And they all equal the exact same. Not just the first number. Every number is the same. The backwards, the forwards, the reduced, every number is the same to January, C, and TCB. Okay? Now, why am I bringing that up? Because, look, I told you that Elvis is the beast out of the sea. Notice that C can be SEE, like you're seeing something, okay? Or the letter C, or the water C, SEA. But notice that you can move around those letters, EAS, it would still sound the same. Look, say it backwards. BCT, beast. You get it? Beast. You understand what I'm saying? That's what that is. It's the beast backwards. TCB. Okay? Now, so now this is why I brought the TCB up. Watch. The year that Trump was born, the year Elvis turned 11, and remember I told you that Trump that was 0 years, 11, right? And so was Bush and Trump, TCB. So you see his 3 crowns right there? TCB right there. Look at that. So Trump, Clinton, and Bush were all born that year. All right. And anyway, so the Triple Crown was born. You get it? The year that Elvis was. And check this out. If you think these are coincidences, look what's missing here. Watch and see, folks. Get ready. Here we go. Look. Remember, they were 000 years old when Elvis was 11, right? When they were born, they were 000, and the 15 is 0. 1961, Elvis turns God. They were all 15. 15 plus 15 plus 15 is 45. Obama was born, which is the 0. 450. Obama's born on the 216th day of the year, and you get 666. See? Are you getting it? 15 plus 15 plus 15 is 45. Obama's 0. Born on the 216th day of the year. 450 plus 216 is 666. And remember, Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216, his full name, and 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. So it's right there, folks. There it is, 1961. Are you getting it? Did anyone not get that? Did you guys get that? Yeah. Now, in between Elvis's birthday and June 11th, between Elvis's birthday and June 11th is, sorry about that. In between Elvis's birthday and June 11th, Elvis was born on 1/8. Um, Elvis is born on January 8th. Elvis was born on January 8th, and 6/11, June 11th is when the Washington State happened. The Washington State catastrophic event happens. The next 9/11 is going to be on 6/11. So between Elvis's birthday and June 11th, if you don't add the dates, 154 days. If you add the dates, 155. Now, this is the only day on the calendar, that will do this with back-to-back numbers. So if you went 1-2 or 2-3 or 3-4 or 4-5 or 5-6 or it has to be consecutive. This is the only time that this does this. What I'm about to show you. Look what happens when you put these two numbers together. Remember, in between Elvis's birthday and June 11th, if you don't add the dates, 154 days. If you add the dates, 155. This is the only day that does this. So now you're going to understand what I just showed you with that TCB. So 154, 155, when written out, see it? 450, 216, 666. What I just showed you. 450, 216, 666. And that's how many days are in between Elvis's birthday and June 11th. 154 if you don't add the day, 155 if you add the day, right? And now, so now all you need, because everything connects to Elvis. When you add Elvis, Aaron Presley, to that number for that day, see, you add Elvis, Aaron Presley to 154, 155, which is the amount of days in between January 8th, Elvis's birthday, and June 11th. Now you get 666. See? There it is. Do you get it? That's why it had to be, because the only two consecutive numbers, okay, consecutive, 154, 155, and that's why, okay? That's why this event has to be on June 11th, okay? And then, like I said, it connects to what I just showed with the Trump, Bush, Clinton, TCB, Obama, all that. And man, that is such a perfect puzzle right there. For the people who don't get it, man, it's just incredible, man. Hold on. Man, I just... How are you guys not in shock when you see that? Like, that's just incredible right there, man. Anyway, let me just lastly explain one more time just want to make sure I have this here. The Vernon Presley thing real quick. I just want to show one thing here. Yeah. No, I'm not going to talk about the 322 right now. It's don't forget it right now. We'll come back to it another day. Ask me in just a regular live stream when I'm not showing information. All right. So remember, Elvis's dad has to be somebody important, okay, to be the one to create this monstrosity named Elvis. And by the way, they say Vernon's middle name is Elvis, which I don't even believe, but they say it. They say Vernon Presley's middle name is Elvis. Anyway, Elvis's dad was born on 410, 1916, right? 410. And I told you 410 connects to Satan. Satan equals 5510. If you add the numbers between 1 through 10, it equals 55. 1 through 4 equals 10. 10, 4, 410 equals 5510. See it? Satan equals 5510. That date, 410, 10, 4, has the connection. Now, look, Vernon Presley's birth is 410, 1916. If you went to 1961, the year Elvis turned God, which is 26, God equals 26, Trump has a crown, and Obama's 0 years old, which is a crown, the O. So look, you add the 26 and 15, you get 41, and you add the 0, 410. That's his birthday. 410. You see it says 1916? There's 1961. Almost exactly the same numbers, right? So it's got the 410 and almost exactly his birthday. Now, why is this date so important? The day Obama's born, August 4th. Because you'll see in a moment. Remember, 1916 looks like 1961, right? Why is this so important? That year that Obama's born, because look, from Vernon Presley's birthday to Obama's birthday, the exact days, it's 45 years, 3 months, 26 days. By the way, JFK, he was killed on the 326th day of the year, okay? And Trump was the 45th president, right? So 45 years in between, which is ridiculous, right? And in between Vernon and JFK's death was 47 years. So 45, 47, and 3 months, 26 days in between for August 4th, because Trump's going to get his head won on August 4th, and JFK was killed on the 326th day of the year. But look, 16,553 days in between Vernon birth and Obama's birth. Okay? And why is this important? Because look, the 1916th prime number is 16553. Do you see that? In between Vernon's birth and Obama's birth is 16553. And remember, Vernon's born in 1916. The 1916th prime is 16553. Do you understand how ridiculous this is? 16553 amount of days in between Vernon and Obama's birth. And the 1916th prime is 16553. Okay? And that's what, and remember, you have already this connection with his birthday, 410, 410, with the numbers of the ages. And then you have Obama's birthday. The amount of days was 16553, which is the 1916th prime. And Vernon Presley's born in 1916. Okay? Do you understand how ridiculous this is? Okay? The perfect connection to it is beyond. How is that even possible? You know? And do you know when Vernon's brother was born? Listen to this. Listen to this. When was Vester Presley born?
Vester Presley was born on September 11th, 1914.
He was born on September 11th, 9/11 in 1914. And by the way, 19 and 14 equals 33. So he was born on 9/11. And he died at the age of 82. Seattle equals 82. You see that? Their names are Vester and Vernon. VV. 22 is 44. And VV looks like a W, the crown. Yeah. You see how ridiculous this is? And you know how many days are in between their birth? Are you ready for this? In between Remember, between Elvis Presley's birthday and June 11th is 154, 155 days on a regular year. From Elvis's birthday to June 11th, the day Washington State gets struck, it's 154, 155 days. From Vernon Presley's birthday, 410 to 9/11, is 154, 155 days if you add the day. You see that? So Vernon to 9/11 is 154, 155. From Elvis to 6/11 is 154, 155. Do you get it? Do you understand what you're seeing? Okay? If you can't see this playing out, I don't know what to tell you. It's 100% that it's going to happen. The only question was, what were they waiting for? What was it that they were waiting for? Okay? Oh, man. Just shocking, man. Just shocking. It really is shocking. Anyway. All right. Like I said, that's it, folks. Make sure you watch it. Anyone who got in late, you got to watch from the beginning. And please thumb up the video, folks. What is wrong with you people? If you can't see that this is biblical, what I'm showing you, because Elvis is the real Antichrist, and Trump is the image of the Antichrist. Okay? And if you don't see that my two predictions are biblical, I don't know what to tell you. You don't have eyes to see, you know? And if you can't see that it's worth a thumbs up, you're not doing it for me. You're doing it for the algorithms. That way people can see it. Because if they come here and see the thumbs up, they'll be like, oh, wow, look at that. The guys, you know. But that's what I'm shocked about, that you guys don't thumb up the video, you know. When you consider that I don't ask nothing in return, you're doing it to help others and to comment under the video, you know. Just put any comment that has to do with the video, or say, if you can't say anything, just say, oh yeah, good video, thanks, or whatever, you know. But be sincere, you know. Don't just, you know, don't be a troll. Hey, good job, and go, you know. Be sincere. And if you can, because I know some people say YouTube doesn't let them put comments about the video, just do your best. That's all. All right. Anyway. And to the people who did not comment about what you saw in the video and didn't give me feedback, shame on you. And shame on anyone who's distracting from the video, of the information in the video. All right? When I asked you guys not to do it, but okay. Anyway, like I said, how do you guys look at this video and not even talk about it? That's what, it's beyond my comprehension. Anyway, you'll see. After my two predictions happen, you know, all those people who mocked me and stuff, they'll regret it. And they'll repent. Anyway, God bless you guys. You know what? Like I said, just remember, mark my words, folks. Mark my words on it. You'll, to all those people, you'll regret it in the future. All right, end of video. Jesus is God. End of video. I'll see you guys in 6 hours from now. All right. End of video. Jesus is God.